Oh my gosh, you guys, this piece is dreamy. I remember when I cut this stone, I could not wait to make this. I had this vision for this bolo for a long time. And so I started with a drawing. I'm not usually super exact, but I found this printer paper that is a sticker, and I wanted to make sure that all of my lines were even, all of my work was even, and so this was 2 sheets of silver sweat soldered together, and so I did everything that I could to make it as exact as I could, because I didn't want to waste anything. There was going to be a lot of silver in this, and so here I am sawing out a rough shape for the back plate, and this I did with 20 gauge silver, and yep, saw. If only it went that fast in real life. I think that, I can't remember if it was this one or the next one. As I was getting ready for the show, I sawed right into my finger, one of these right in. It was lovely, all that dust. And here I am sawing in those lines, and this is going to be the piece that is sweat soldered on top of the back plate. And so I'm cleaning up. I went in and cleaned those areas out so that there was some good definition there, and I wanted to make sure and run sandpaper and stuff through those lines so that when I soldered it, the solder didn't pool in there a lot, and then I would lose those lines in that shape. And so here I got everything ready for that front part, got some flux on the back there, and now I am using some clips that hold it in place to make sure that it doesn't move, because I did not want to have it shift with all the, I put some solder on the back plate, melted it, and now I've clipped it to the front piece to the back piece, and I'm going in here and I'm doing everything that I can to be very careful. When that gets really hot, you have to be careful how much pressure you use, and in not puncturing the silver. This is the bezel, and I wanted to add some stamping on the bezel so that it added a little bit more decorative touch to it without adding femininity to the bolo. Not that a woman couldn't wear this bolo. Absolutely a woman could wear this bolo, but I made it with a man in mind, but I'd wear it. And here I'm now wrapping the bezel around the stone. I'm telling you, this stone is absolute magic. It is one of the biggest pieces of Snowville. Not the biggest. I've actually done another Snowville bolo that turned out so good. But here I'm kind of rocking the stone around my bezel to make sure that I've got a really tight fit. And there I am going to solder the ends together. A lot of steps. I don't think people realize how many steps there are in the process of making jewelry. You have something that is just beautifully put together, but there are so many steps getting it ready, and it's important to heat all the way around. Here, wow, got all the pieces put together, the rings on the back, the braid around. I've got to get in there and clean up all inside where the cab is going to sit so that there's no silver pooled up in there or any beads or grit left, because it will make the stone rock, which could make it crack. And so here I am patinaing. You can use a lot of different things for patina. I use black max. I also sometimes use liver of sulfur. It does stink so bad. And I don't love the patina that I get with liver of sulfur like I like the patina that I get with black max. I just don't. I just don't like the color that it turns out. So I have these little watercolor pens that I use. I keep my black max in there so that it's easy to put it onto the piece. And here I've got everything ready. The bolo leather is through the ties in the back. I always check that to make sure before I set the stone in there that it's going to fit, that everything comes together well. And I was so excited with this one. I just couldn't get over how well it turned out. My vision absolutely came to life on this one. And because Veracite's soft, I'm using an acrylic bezel pusher on this, just to make sure I don't mar up the stone or crack it or break it. And all the fun stuff in the background too. It's always a mess. That's always what my bench looks like. But you go slow. When you're setting your stones, go slow. Be methodical. Pay attention to every detail. I often see stones that are set where the bezel isn't pushed in all the way and there's gaps or there's wrinkles in the bezel wire. However that is, and it just takes away from the beauty of what you have. And so I go over it 3 or 4 times. I make sure that everything's even. Now I'm using a metal pusher to get in there and just make sure that it's got a really, really tight fit. You don't want the stone coming out, and so it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But there, it's almost done, and voila, beautiful! Yep, I impressed myself with this one. So hey, this is available. Somebody should snag this baby.